Rozier. He had a decorated amateur career, and already, with this being his 11th pro fight, is on the precipice of challenging for a world title. Sergey Derivyachenko, the man known as the Technician, gets set to take on Tureano Johnson. And let's take a look at our Corona tale of the tape. Corona, who invites you to find your beach. There we see 2 years older is Tureano Johnson. Just 1 inch height advantage for Johnson, but take a look at the reach there. 73.5 for Johnson, compared to that of 67.5 for one Sergey Derivyachenko. Our main event tonight at 160 pounds, Sergey Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, from Main Street here in Miami, Oklahoma, Premier Boxing Champions now features the main event, live on FS1, 10 rounds in the middleweight division. The 3 judges ringside are Don Griffin, John Stewart, and David Sutherland. And the referee in charge, when the bell sounds, Gary Ritter. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with the teal. As a professional, his record stands at 20 wins, 14 of those coming by way of knockout against 1 blemish. Fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia by way of Nassau, Bahamas. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Tureano Johnson. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue with the white trim. As a professional, he is perfect. 10 bouts, 10 victories, 8 of those coming by way of KO. Fighting out of Brooklyn, New York by way of the Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, dami gospoda, Sergey, the Technician, Derievyanchenko.
Okay, gentlemen.
This is a 12-round eliminator matchup,
okay, gentlemen.
Between Sergey Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson.
Eliminator. I suggest you conduct yourself as champions. Obey my commands. Touch gloves. Both trunks are good. Scope.
There you see Tureano Johnson. Johnson and Derivyachenko. Derivyachenko has been wiping out his opponents, I can recollect, when he put out Sam Solomon last July in Connecticut with a vicious left hook. Tureano Johnson, who has been on the cusp of fighting for a world title on 2 separate occasions, actually had a fight lined up with Gennady Golovkin, but had to pull out because of a shoulder injury. And since that time, has been working hard to regain that golden opportunity. Ray Flores, Robert the Ghost Guerrero, Jordan Hardy here, ringside in Miami, Oklahoma.
Yeah, he said that shoulder's been doing very well. Strong, and he's ready to go.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
For Tureano Johnson, he is fighting in the memory of his former trainer, Tyrone Jones, who has passed away. He has Antonio Bendicart, who is his trainer. We will have more on that with Jordan Hardy. As you see that Johnson is a southpaw, and then he comes into conventional. So he went from southpaw to conventional, and he is changing up his looks there, literally changing his stances in mid-stride, Robert.
Yeah, he's just walking in, crossing his, that could be dangerous, walking in like that. Off balance, and you get hit, you go down, it's a knockdown.
Derivyachenko looks to go to the body, and Derivyachenko, even though he's small in stature, standing about 5'9", when he hits you many times, and for the most part with an 80% knockout percentage, his opponents do fall. And an overhand right that momentarily backed up Tureano Johnson.
Yeah, he throws a fastball right hand, and when it lands, it does damage.
And it is Tureano Johnson who's trying to walk down Derivyachenko.
about this crowd here? This crowd is great. Great turnout.
They came out to support. They love Premier Boxing Champions here in Miami, Oklahoma. This is the first time that we have been here when it comes to the PBC, and they've welcomed us with open arms.
Yeah.
Hope to be back.
Very, very friendly people. I was able to get out here yesterday and meet some of the residents out here, business owners, and they opened up their doors with love, and I'm glad we're giving them a great show here.
And right now, Derivyachenko and Johnson are showing no love towards one another, as it is Derivyachenko who places a straight right on the left side of the ribcage of Johnson. Johnson has a great deal of respect for Derivyachenko, says that Sergey's an awesome fighter. He's good at things, but he's not a great fighter, and I can expose that.
So far, he's doing a great job putting that pressure.
Final 10 seconds of this world title eliminator. A couple left hooks there on the right side of the body of Tureano Johnson. Derivyachenko and Johnson are picking up the intensity. You're watching PBC on FS1.
These are Domino's all-new Parmesan-dusted, garlic-seasoned, and cinnamon-sprinkled bread twists. How did we come up with such a clever name? We'll never tell. Choose any two of Domino's new bread twists or medium two-topping pizzas for $5.99 each.
This Labor Day weekend, Maryland faces a tough test in the heart of Texas. Then Texas A&M battles UCLA. College football is back on FS1 and Fox.
Welcome back to PBC on FS1. The weigh-ins went down today. Floyd Money Mayweather and the notorious Conor McGregor. They go head-to-head tomorrow night live on Showtime pay-per-view as the prelims get going on Fox, and then over to Showtime pay-per-view, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific is when the pay-per-view broadcast begins. The biggest fight in combat sports history. We have prelims, pre-fight at 6 p.m. Eastern, prelims at 7. Tomas Delorme, your Dennis Ugas, Jose Miguel Borrego, and Juan Heraldez square off as well. Looking forward to being at the T-Mobile Arena for that one. And Tureano Johnson is coming forward. There's a southpaw and whacking Derivyachenko. Derivyachenko made his pro debut when he was 29 years of age, so he's barely been a pro. He competed in the World Series of Boxing, but that is not recognized as an official pro record. But he spent a lot of time as an amateur. And Robert, you know that a lot of fighters out there in Eastern Europe have almost their amateur career is like quadruple what their pro career is.
Oh, definitely they come out of the amateurs, ready to go as a pro almost. Having that many fights, and a lot of the fights they have are international duels, Olympics, Goodwill Games. So it really pays off for them.
And what's interesting to note is for Sergey Derivyachenko, this is a 12-round matchup, and he's been involved in fights that have been scheduled for 12 and 10, but his last 2 fights have been scheduled for that, but he's only been 5 rounds or more, just 3 times, all coming in his last 5 matchups. So if Johnson is able to take Tureano or Derivyachenko into the 9th, 10th round, it could be waters that Derivyachenko has never swam in.
Yes, and the pressure looks like it's getting to him now. He's putting that pressure on him, and that can pay dividends down the line.
80 seconds remaining. A crushing right hand that backed up Tureano Johnson, and Derivyachenko seems to be warming up, but you see that the face is reddening as well for Derivyachenko. Compliments of the work from Tureano Johnson.
Put your hand out of there.
A sneaky right hand that got through the guard. And you know what? This is one of those fights, as we look at a big right hand, crushing right hand that backs up Tureano Johnson. When you look at all the fights that we've had this week, toe-to-toe Tuesdays on Tuesday night, a tremendous night of action there with Juan Carlos Payano being successful against Alexis Santiago. And now here tonight with Sergey Derivyachenko, Tureano Johnson. Obviously, we have Mayweather McGregor tomorrow, but this is the fight where people are saying, wait a minute, what a way to cap off your Friday night with Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson.
Oh, yes. This gives you a little glimpse of, what could come up down the line in the future of boxing also. So it is a great fight. They both are in a phone booth right now, and they're going at it.
And even though Derivyachenko is 31 years of age, dare I even say it, not because I'm getting ready to turn 31, but it is a young 31 for Derivyachenko.
Oh yes, it's how you preserve your body, going down the line, not putting through a lot of punishment, the right training, having everything done the proper way. You can last in the sport.
And the closing moments of round 2. This one's scheduled for 12. You're watching PBC here on FS1.
Never give up on your dream. Be your own inspiration. A beacon of self-belief. Keep proving others wrong. If your dream doesn't scare you, then it's not big enough. So dream as big as you dare.
Welcome back to PBC on FS1 in Miami. They deem themselves a boxing mecca. Well, the fight fans certainly love their boxing, and they're having a great time with PBC on FS1. Sergey Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson, the winner, will be in line for a title shot for the IBF middleweight championship, currently held by Gennady Golovkin. Both Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson, incidentally, both competed in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. It was Johnson for the Bahamas, Derivyachenko for the Ukraine. And Tureano Johnson became the third person to qualify for the Olympics boxing-wise for the Bahamas, so he certainly made some history, did Tureano Johnson.
Yeah, he was talking about he did a lot of work down in Cuba also for a few years, and just being with the Cuban Olympic team, I mean, it's incredible to get the work, knowing guys like Erislandy Lara and Joel Casamayor real good. They come out ready to go as a pro.
And Johnson also told us that it was going there to Havana, Cuba, that he learned what it was like to go ahead and train on the outside and deal with the humidity and the heat that Cuba had. And he said that transitioning here with this his first outdoor fight would be no problems. And we're seeing that he's very active tonight against Sergey Derivyachenko.
Yeah, he was saying also too, being from the Bahamas, he said this is he was hoping it would be nice and hot because it'd feel like home.
We have a nice little cool breeze that we feel here. We are in downtown Miami, Oklahoma on Main Street, outside under the lights, a gorgeous Friday evening. And Derivyachenko throws a big right hand, and Derivyachenko is walking through fire. Now he goes downstairs as well, but Johnson is willing to retaliate. Two big right hands followed by a hook, and Derivyachenko has Johnson hurt. Johnson retreating.
Derivyachenko's doing a great job hitting those angles and landing those power shots.
Derivyachenko is non-stop, has a very high guard, and he gets a lot of leverage behind his punches, and that is what has been backing up Johnson. But Johnson, with his will, is coming forward again.
Step back. Fight.
Gary Ritter will separate them. I think that feeling out process has dissipated, Robert.
Yes, that feeling out process went out the window now. They're rocking now. They're letting them go and letting them fly.
Well, it's different paces. Derivyachenko picked up the pace. He was walking down Johnson. Johnson went back, and now he came forward. It is a battle of wills inside the ring here tonight with PBC on FS1.
Yeah, they're fighting over that ring generalship. And man, it's turning out to be a great fight.
Punch out. Your hands are free. Punch out.
Derivyachenko, the left side underneath his left eye, it is bruised. So those are compliments of those straight right hands from Tureano Johnson. Final stages of this third round between Sergey Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson. That's the end of the third. And let's take a look at some of the work here between both. Derivyachenko picking up the pace, throwing big hands. We'll come back with the fourth round.
What's more irresistible than getting a large mouth-watering pizza at Pizza with 2 of your favorite toppings for just $7.99? Having it delivered right to your door. Enjoy the best $7.99 large pizza delivery deal when you order online, because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
This fall, they're partners in the paranormal.
was the head yelling? The head should not have been yelling. It's a good question.
Craig Robinson, Adam Scott, Ghosted, premieres October 1st on Fox.
Welcome back to PBC on FS1. Sergey Derivyachenko being attended to by Andre Rozier. With more on Derivyachenko, we'll toss it over to our own Jordan Hardy.
Great, thank you. Derivyachenko had a late start to his professional career. He was actually 28 when he turned pro. But listen to this, he had over 400 amateur fights. So he definitely has experience, but at 10-0, he is already on a fast track to becoming as a world champion. As we can see tonight, he actually set a goal for himself to be a world champ within 3 years of turning pro. And last month was that 3-year mark, but if Derivyachenko is successful tonight, then he is just one step away from achieving his dream of becoming a world champ. Greg?
Thank you very much, Jordan. He certainly can get on the doorstep if he's successful tonight against Tureano Johnson. Derivyachenko looking to hand Johnson the second defeat of his pro career, and Johnson got rattled there by a couple of right hands, but Johnson answers back, and they are both going toe-to-toe here tonight.
Derivyachenko's doing a great job on hitting those angles and landing those big shots.
And Johnson, as we see the pace that he is setting, I saw Derivyachenko.
Yes, and that's what he's trying to create, that space so he can make that short little tight turn and land some shots and create that space to throw a really good power shot in there.
Tureano Johnson, when we asked him about his loss at the hands of Curtis Stevens back in 2014, he was winning the fight in all 9 rounds, and then in the 10th, he got clipped, and the referee in charge, Gary Dos Santos, brought an end to the contest. Johnson felt it was a premature stoppage, but still, he learned from that defeat to Curtis Stevens, and a big overhand right that connects again for Sergey Derivyachenko.
Stop.
And now,
You got him low. You okay?
Gary Ritter
You okay? Box.
warns Tureano Johnson about going low. 65 seconds left. 75 seconds left, I beg your pardon, here in this 4th round between Sergey Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson.
Punch out your hands.
Now Derivyachenko ties up. Could that be an indication that Derivyachenko is getting tired, Robert?
I think he's just trying to break in the action so he can get his distance and get off to the side and land some big shots. He's trying to create that space for himself to land with leverage on his punches and not be smothered.
Stop, break.
And I don't think Derivyachenko, when it comes to the pro ranks, is used to somebody like Tureano Johnson to withstand his power and keep coming forward to try to bully him. So this is, dare I even say, foreign territory for Sergey Derivyachenko.
Yeah, this is what's going to show what kind of fighter he is with that type of pressure. If he can pull it out and get his distance and stay really calm and be able to make the 12 rounds.
Well, that sequence right now was gorgeous, as we saw. Oh my goodness, what a crushing uppercut that snapped the head back of Tureano Johnson as Derivyachenko goes to the body, and then he decides to transition upstairs. Sergey Derivyachenko is looking to really do his best to dissect Tureano Johnson. And they go back to the corner. Let's take a look and observe some of the work in what was an eventful 4th round. Sergey Derivyachenko going upstairs, shooting that right cross down the middle, Robert, and Derivyachenko being very active.
It's all coming down to him having room to shoot his punches and land those power shots. It's having that right distance. That's where he's most dangerous.
Hey, don't forget about what we have in store for tomorrow. Obviously, Mayweather-McGregor live on Showtime pay-per-view. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock Eastern on Fox with a pre-fight show. Then the welterweights, Tomas Delorme, big matchup for him against your Dennis Ugas. Ugas been victorious in 4 in a row. 3 of those opponents have been undefeated. The junior welterweights, Juan Hernandez, Jose Miguel Borrego undefeated out of Mexico. Let's take a look at the pay-per-view undercard. Gervonta Davis, Francisco Fonseca, light heavyweight championship on the line. Nathan Cleverly makes his first defense against Badu Jack, moving up for the first time to 175. And the cruiserweights, Andrew the Beast Tabiti, undefeated, looks to remain that way against Steve USS Cunningham, the former IBF cruiserweight champion. Round number 5, this one is scheduled for 12. Robert, it is Derivyachenko who is coming on and starting to dictate the pace of this fight.
Yeah, he's starting to hit those angles and walk him into punches, and that's what he needs to do to be successful in this fight. There you see it right there, getting off to the side. Johnson coming in with that that peekaboo style and just putting a tremendous amount of pressure. He's able to get off, and Derevyanchenko's able to get off and sidestep and land some big shots on him.
And Derivyachenko is going downstairs to the body, even though he likes to mix up and vary his attack, but he still goes back and remains poised on ripping the body of Tureano Johnson.
Yeah, it goes to show all that amateur experience he has is coming into play.
Tureano Johnson isn't throwing with as much frequency and isn't as active. Robert, could that be because the body attack is starting to wear on him?
It's a little bit of both, but I really think it's the angles that Derevyanchenko's giving him where he's not able to see him in front of him.
And Tureano Johnson has a burst of speed as we are nearing the halfway mark of round 5. This one's scheduled for 12. A straight left.
Stop, break, step back, step back.
Connected right there. Gary Ritter will separate the two.
Every time he gets off on that angle.
By Sergey Derivyachenko. That momentarily seemed to hurt Tureano Johnson. Johnson has his guard up and he isn't throwing anything right now. He was just absorbing punishment for that brief moment.
Every time he gets off on an angle, he just lands beautiful shots and walks him right into it.
And Tureano Johnson now, instead of being on his heels and throwing with a lot of leverage, Robert, he's more lumbering now. We've seen that his style is wearing a little bit, and he's lumbering around the ring and isn't on his heels as much. It's apparent that the punishment that he's taken from Derivyachenko is starting to take its toll.
Yes, he's just trying to put that pressure and just keep coming forward and trying to smother Derivyachenko's punches. But every time he gets off on that angle, he lands a big shot on him, and it's taking a toll on him.
And also from a mental aspect, when Johnson comes forward, Derivyachenko, he ties up, and then he immediately goes back, and a crushing right hand that caught the guard of Tureano Johnson, and a big right cross that landed there by Derivyachenko, and Derivyachenko just got off a brilliant 4-punch combination. Derivyachenko is starting to unload on Tureano Johnson. And what a way to conclude round 5 for Sergey Derivyachenko. It is the technician who is going to work against Tureano Johnson. You're watching PBC on FS1 here on Main Street in Miami, Oklahoma. As this is the 6th round, Sergey Derivyachenko taking over as he's coming off a win back on March 14th. That was also PBC on FS1. He stopped Kemai Russell. Tureano Johnson, the last time he was inside the ring was also in March. A 2nd round knockout over Fabiano Pena.
Get your arms out of there.
And now let's send it to our own Jordan Hardy, who has more information on Tureano Johnson.
Great, thank you. I was just over in Johnson's corner after those flurries that Derivyachenko was landing, similar to now. His coach asked him, Reno, do you want this? He said yes. He told him, don't quit, keep your hands up. And when Derivyachenko pushes Johnson off of him, like you're about to see him probably do now, he was telling him to counter and get back on the inside right there and go to the body. So we'll see if he'll make these adjustments. Ray, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jordan. So what we took away from Jordan's report is that they do not want to allow Derivyachenko off the hook. Going to the body there was Tureano Johnson. So when Derivyachenko holds, and instead of him stepping to the side, they want Johnson to be more active and throw more punches and make Derivyachenko pay.
Yes, they don't want to give him that room, that space to punch, because that's where he's most dangerous, when he has the room and he's off to the angles.
And even though Derivyachenko fights well on the inside, the one thing that he told us in the fighter meetings was, I need to use my distance. And a big uppercut there that just connected for Derivyachenko, and Derivyachenko moving forward, but he has that shoulder in front of him to protect himself.
And he's doing a great job getting his distance, turning him, getting off in the angle, and man, he's doing an awesome job getting that shot in over the overhand right is coming out beautiful.
There are some guys who have lengthy and successful amateur careers, and you wonder if they can transition well to the pro. Well, you look at somebody like Sergey Derivyachenko, and the question and the answer is absolutely. It is transitioned marvelously to the professional ranks.
Yes, he's mixing it up very well. He's also coming down to the body after every combination, and that's really going to take a toll down the line.
And Andre Rozier, his trainer, I mean, Derivyachenko spars with Daniel Jacobs and, you know, a host of others there in Brooklyn, New York, so he certainly is not lacking any valuable sparring.
Oh, no. He's very prepared, very ready for this. As you can see, very calm in the ring under this kind of pressure. And I think he's doing a tremendous job, like I said before, getting off on those angles and landing big shots.
Well, Tureano Johnson is throwing more punches, and I even say that he's more active here in this round than what we've seen in the past 2 or 3 rounds. So whatever his corner told him in terms of being more active, it has certainly paid dividends.
Oh yeah, it got through to him when they asked him, do you really want this? So he started putting that pressure and letting them go, and that's what he needs to do. As soon as they take that step back, he needs to let them go and not just shell up, because that's where Derivyachenko gets his shots off.
Final moments of round 6 between Sergey Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson, a matchup in the middleweight division. You're watching PBC on FS1.
Never give up on your dream. Be your own inspiration. A beacon of self-belief. Keep proving others wrong. If your dream doesn't scare you, then it's not big enough. So dream as big as you dare.
Welcome back to PBC on FS1. The eyes of the world will be on the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor will battle tomorrow night live on Showtime pay-per-view. The biggest fight in combat sports history emanates from Las Vegas. Prelims, pre-fight, 6 o'clock Eastern. Prelims, Tomas Delorme, your Dennis Ugas, Jose Miguel Borrego, and Juan Heraldez. That'll be on Fox at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Do not miss it. Round 7. This one is scheduled for 12. Robert, through the first 6 rounds, how do you have the fight scored?
I have the fight scored 4 rounds to 3.
So 4-2 in favor
of 4-2
of Sergey Derivyachenko.
Yes.
And when we were talking about lighting a fire underneath somebody, we heard that in between the 5th and the 6th round for Tureano Johnson. Robert, are there times when you're a fighter and you need that extra motivation or a good pep talk in the corner? You obviously had your father, Ruben, in your corner during the duration of your career.
Oh, yes. All the time you need that pep talk. You need somebody that's going to drive your corner and tell you, hey, you need to pick it up. You need to pick it up. You're starting to slow down. You're starting to lose rounds. You need to pick it up. So, it looks like he's taking the advice and he's starting to pick it up and put that pressure and also punch as soon as Derivyachenko steps back.
Derivyachenko is moving forward, and he snuck in a right hand, but also getting an uppercut to land on the chin of Derivyachenko was Johnson. 2 uppercuts that have connected over the past 15 seconds for Tureano Johnson, the 33-year-old, originally from Nassau, Bahamas.
Yes, that uppercut's one of his most dangerous punches, and he just landed 2 beautiful ones.
The leverage, though, that Derivyachenko gets behind every shot is something that I think a lot of young fighters need to take account of. Nothing that he throws is anything. He doesn't have arm punches. He gets a lot of leverage, and it all comes from the ground up, Robert.
Oh, yeah, he's just like a major league pitcher. He fires those fastballs, and he fires them hard.
Tureano Johnson is still aggressive, coming forward. This is certainly not an easy night at the office for both fighters.
I think it's the atmosphere out here. It's like a movie set out here, and it's incredible.
One of the most unique venues that I have ever been a part of from a fight standpoint here in Miami, Oklahoma, and Sergey Derivyachenko and Tureano Johnson. I mean, what's the point of having cell phones when you are fighting in a phone booth?
Exactly, and that's what they're doing. And they're doing a great job.
Momentary lapse in action, but Derievchenko goes back on the offensive. Tureano Johnson, a couple of right hands on the left side of the head of Derievchenko.
It's a nice body shot for Johnson.
There is so much on the line. The winner will be #1 in the IBF middleweight rankings. And they will await the winner of Triple G and Canelo. And that ends the 7th round. You're watching PBC on FS1.
You probably didn't notice, but something's different about me. Even with the beautiful cars and fast women, there was something missing in my life. Then I found brown sugar.
Try a week of brown sugar free on your phone, tablet, or computer.
Stream the biggest collection of the baddest movies.
Just download the Brown Sugar app now from iTunes or the Google Play Store, or go to brownsugar.com. You dig?
Brown sugar.
Just like Netflix, only blacker.
Welcome back to PBC on FS1. There you see they are in the corner of Tureano Johnson and Robert as you go ahead and see what they are trying to talk to. The man known as Reno, what have you been able to see?
I've seen an unusual in-swell. I think it's a master lock. Never seen that before. But whatever works for you.
Wow. We've never seen anything like that. And we've both seen many things in boxing. And for you to say it, my goodness, what credence that has.
Watch your hands.
Yes, sir.
And our own Jordan Hardy was in the corner of Sergey Derievchenko. Jordan, can you talk to us about what they told him?
Stop,
sure can. His coaches were telling him use the jab up and down, and then light his, I can't say the other word, up. Light him up. That's what they want him to do. So they don't want him when he's on the inside. They don't want him to stay on the inside too long. They want him to use his jab, move it up and down, and score from the outside. One thing they were really stressing was to keep it cool and stay relaxed. They're pretty sure that he's got it in, so they just want him to stay relaxed and use his jab, move up and down. Simple. Ray, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Absolutely simple. I mean, they pretty much told him a couple of things, and Derievchenko is going on trying to execute that, Robert.
Yes, I mean, he looks a lot better than his last outing. You know, he looks really relaxed. His punches ain't, you know, with everything on him. It's like he's just placing them in the right spots with the right power.
And Derievchenko, very rarely has he put himself in precarious positions in this fight, but as he was holding, as we observed the look in his eye, I mean, he's taking some deep breaths. Not to say that he's fading by any stretch, but this is testing his conditioning.
Oh, yes. Derievchenko's doing a great job on his toes, you know, making those turns, getting off to the side, landing his shots, and getting right back on that jab just like they wanted him to do.
And Robert, when you're a prospect, as we approach this being 80 seconds in the 8th round, when you're someone who is an up-and-coming contender, but you've really never been to this stage of a fight against someone who is tough as nails like Tureano Johnson, what is going through your mind?
Get the job done. Pull it out. Do what you got to do to win, and he's doing a great job. You can tell the amateur background he's had. He's able to let his punches go, and he's able to stay calm and relaxed.
And Derievchenko picking up a big right hand that lands on Johnson, and Johnson backing up. Derievchenko unleashing a combination as he sticks the jab, and he snuck in that right cross as well. Tureano Johnson is just so tough because those combinations are, quote-unquote, lighting him up as his corner wanted.
Oh, yes. It's like he said, this is a lifestyle for me, and I like to fight on the inside, and, man, he's taking a lot of punishment doing it.
But Johnson continues to press forward. At this particular point, Robert, from what you're seeing out of Tureano Johnson, should the corner think about maybe saying 1 round, if you don't show us a lot, then we're going to pull the plug, because Derievchenko is punishing Tureano Johnson.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of shots coming in and putting that type of pressure, and as soon as he ties up, the shots come on.
That's the end of the 8th as Johnson walks back to his corner. And let's take a look as we observe some of the work in this 8th round, and look at Sergey Derievchenko.
Yeah, he got his distance nice, landing those big shots, getting off in those angles, and it's working very well every time he gets off to the side, and he's listening to his corner. You know, stay on that jab and set it up, and that's working out beautiful for him.
And Antonio Bendikar speaking with Johnson, but even the body language and the facial expression, Johnson doesn't have, he's not glowing. Obviously, a fight is hard, but he is just, you can just tell in his body language, it's starting to fade, and his facial expression is telling us that he's getting beaten up.
Oh, yes, he's taking a lot of big punches to the head and also to the body. I mean, Derivanchenko's doing a lot of body work as he throws his combinations to the head, top, bottom, and gets off to the side and starts sticking him with that jab.
Both men are going to be hurting in the morning, but one will be in line for a world title shot if they are successful and gain the W. And Johnson was grimacing for a brief moment. I don't know if that was an inadvertent shot below the belt by Derivanchenko, but they both exchange right crosses there at close distance. Hey, don't forget, be a part of the conversation on social media. Use the hashtag PBC on FS1. Again, follow us on social media. Use the hashtag PBC on FS1. Follow us at Premier Boxing and also at FS1.
Yeah, Johnson is just pretty much starting to walk into punches. And it's starting to get dangerous for him now.
Well, as we saw when it came to Hugo Centeno Jr. when he knocked out Emmanuel Lim in our co-main event in the third round, those one-punch knockouts, as they like to tell us, physicians have told us that those are not necessarily the ones that you have to really worry about. It is these 10, 11-round beatings that you have to really pay attention to and observe a fighter to make sure that they are okay.
Oh, yes. Taking the punishment throughout the 10, 12 rounds, that's where you do the most damage. You take a lot of hard shots, you put your body through the ringer, you put your head through the ringer also. So, sometimes it's better for a guy to get knocked out with one shot because they can recover from it quicker and they can put themselves through that ringer.
Well, Johnson is putting himself in the ringer because this is the third time he has been in something like this. The first time he lost to Curtis Stevens by 10th round knockout. He was in line to fight Gennady Golovkin, and then he had to pull out because of a shoulder injury, and this is his third opportunity to potentially garner a title shot. But Johnson is walking forward, but Derivanchenko doing a nice job to fight off the ropes.
Yeah, Johnson is game. I mean, you can tell he's coming. What he needs to do is just let his hands go a lot more. But walking into shots, I mean, he's one of the guys that's too tough for his own good.
Absolutely. And Johnson and Derivanchenko, they are tying up here as referee in charge, Garrett Ritter, will separate them. And Johnson was pretty adamant to us. He goes, I'm not surviving, I'm conquering. Well, he has a lot of work to do if he's to conquer Sergey Derivanchenko, but he threw an uppercut, and they both continue to go back and forth and toe-to-toe.
How about those boxing boots Johnson has? They look nice. Especially with the peacock feathers on them.
The man has a lot of style, but Sergey Derivanchenko is demonstrating his style and his technical prowess tonight against Tureano Johnson. A little shoe shine work by Johnson to end the 9th round, as there is blood on the left side of the cheek of Sergey Derivanchenko and some bruises on the right side of the head of Derivanchenko as well, as Andre Rozier speaking with the man that they call the technician.
I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. He's doing a great job relaxing in there, getting off on his angles, keeping his distance, landing his punches.
And ladies and gentlemen, do not forget, tomorrow night, the notorious Conor McGregor will take on 49-0, the 5 division world champion Floyd Money Mayweather on Showtime pay-per-view preliminaries and prelim fights on Fox, 6 o'clock Eastern pre-fight show, 7 o'clock prelims, 2 matchups, Tomas Delorme and your Dennis Ugas, Jose Miguel Borrego, and Juan Heraldez. This is the 10th round. This is foreign territory for Sergey Derivanchenko. He hasn't been to the 10th in his pro career, so what is going through the mind of the 31-year-old out of the Ukraine?
I mean, he's doing a great job just picking them apart, staying relaxed. Staying relaxed in the corner is a big key also when you come back to the corner and sit down and rest. That's where you got to recover the most, and he's doing a great job, and his team's doing a great job also in the corner.
For Tureano Johnson, he's coming out and is more aggressive, and there seems to be a sense of urgency in the corner and being displayed by Tureano Johnson.
Yes, he's starting to get into that mode where he's just trying to make something happen now, trying to get some rhythm going. But he's walking into punches doing it.
Stop, break, step back, step back.
For Sergey Deriuchenko, with the fact that he's hit Johnson with everything in his arsenal, could that be like discouraging? Like, man, oh man, I hit him with clean shot after clean shot. I can't put this guy down.
No, it just gets you back to like, hey, I got to work. I got to break the guy down, and I can't knock him out with one punch. And he's doing a great job doing that. And this is the type of stuff that gets you ready for that championship fight.
And also, he's not overextending himself. That's another thing. When it comes to big knockout punchers, when they don't get the knockout, sometimes they get discouraged. And a couple uppercuts as Tureano Johnson is coming forward, but going back to work is Sergey Deriuchenko. Backs him up with a left hook.
Yeah, this is a great week for boxing, especially this fight right here. That phone booth fight and just letting punches go after punch. And it is great to see.
This is a throwback to, as they like to say, the old days. Guys that just want to stand and trade and sit in the pocket and let their hands go. And both Deriuchenko and Johnson have exhibited that here this evening.
Really throwback. I mean, the atmosphere sitting out here downtown. You have the theater in back of us. I mean, it's incredible.
And we know that tomorrow will be incredible with Floyd Mayweather and the notorious Conor McGregor. But so far, we have gotten a scintillating affair between Deriuchenko and Tureano Johnson.
He's doing a great job letting his punches go and also keeping his hands up.
Johnson is pressing forward, but turning him around is Deriuchenko. Final 30 seconds of round 10. This one's scheduled for 12. And now Johnson squares himself up, and this could be dangerous territory for the 33-year-old. You don't want to square yourself up against Sergey Deriuchenko.
Now, especially with those little chopping overhands. Just like that.
And an uppercut right there through the guard. And round number 10 will conclude. 2 more rounds remaining. Sergey Deriuchenko and Tureano Johnson. 2 more left, and both men are starting to show some effects from the inside fighting and the punishment that they both delivered.
Beautiful uppercuts. He needs to do a lot more of that when he's in the inside and let him go. But here comes Machenko right back. Deriuchenko just lets him fly right after, so he needs to step off to the side.
Robert, if you are Antonio Bendicart, the trainer for Tureano Johnson, what are you informing him and hoping to get out of him?
I'm hoping to get out of him. I'll be in the corner telling him, you need to get out there and let your punches fly. Let your hands go. Throw more uppercuts on the inside, more hooks, and let them fly. Because you're behind and you need a knockout to win.
Well, he has to dig down deep, and there you see Andre Rozier. They have to be pleased with what they have witnessed from their contender, and Sergey, the technician, Deriuchenko. Round 11, this one's scheduled for 12. Ray Flores, Robert the Ghost Guerrero, the champ, and Jordan Hardy. Honored to be here ringside in Miami, Oklahoma, on Main Street, outside under the lights in the northeast portion of Oklahoma. And now with more on what is going on in the corners, as a big right hand that backs up Tureano Johnson. Deriuchenko going to work, followed by a crushing right hand, and oh my goodness, Johnson is in a heap of trouble, and he is getting taken, and there was a stumble there for Sergey Deriuchenko. And it was a headbutt is what happened, as Jordan Hardy points that out to me, but they are now swinging and swinging for the fences. Oh my goodness, look at this.
What an 11th round.
We haven't even hit the 1 minute mark in this round 11, and they both have come out swinging like they need a knockout. Well, Tureano Johnson does. It doesn't appear as though Deriuchenko doesn't.
Yes, every time he's on that distance, he's landing big shots, big combinations.
100 seconds remaining in round 11.
Punch out, guys. Your hands are free. Punch out.
And now Derievchenko will tie up. And Robert, from what we saw in the early portion of that 11th round, it looked like Derievchenko was going to find a way to stop Tureano Johnson, or at least knock him down.
Yes, now he's letting him go. You know, a little bit of what he used to do before was throw hard, fast, rocketing combinations, and in the 11th round, that's what he's doing.
And a sharp uppercut as well, as we're seeing from Sergey Derievchenko. But man, oh man, when you talk about the slogan, tough as nails, a left hook that stunned Johnson. Tureano Johnson is as tough as nails, but he is getting beaten down by Sergey Derievchenko. Derievchenko crushing right hand. Gary Ritter is watching, and he may be in line to possibly stop this fight. Johnson is going backwards, and Sergey Derievchenko is turning up the heat against Tureano Johnson.
Yeah, he's starting to break him. He broke him down throughout the fight, and now he's trying to take him out, and he's almost ready to go.
And there is blood streaming from somebody. We cannot tell from our vantage point. It appears as though it is coming from Tureano Johnson.
Yeah,
the left eye, the left side of the eye is what is bleeding, and that could be because of a headbutt that we heard about, but it also could be from a punch as well, Robert.
Yes, it could be from either one. I mean, the exchanges were incredible, and a lot of hard punches were thrown, so we'll find out what the referee ruled on it.
Final 10 seconds as we near the end of the 11th round between Sergey Derievchenko and Tureano Johnson. The winner will be in line to challenge for the IBF Middleweight Championship. And Tureano Johnson's going back to the corner. He hasn't even sat down yet. And here we see some of the work from Sergey Derievchenko.
Every time he has that distance, he's ready to land those big shots. And he gets off to the angle, and he drops those little overhand right hands. And man, it's doing a lot of damage to Johnson.
Derievchenko staggering Tureano Johnson, and Johnson, Gary Ritter, it went over the referee in the corner of Tureano Johnson, who's being attended to by Antonio Bendicart, his trainer, and he looked at him. He gave him a very long look, and Johnson stands up, and he appears to be okay. And now let's send it to the third member of our broadcast team with more on what's going on in the corners. Here's Jordan Hardy.
Great, thank you. Guys, we have to remember in the fighter meetings yesterday, Tureano told us that if Derievchenko comes to fight, that this is going to be a treat and a show, and that's definitely what this is. I was just in the corner of Johnson, and they said this is the last round. You've got to knock him out, touch him up, and finish him off. So we'll see if he's got the heart and the strength to finish it, or if Derievchenko's going to come forward and take him into deep waters like he's already done. Great, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jordan and Robert. Sergey Derievchenko, he's never been 12 rounds in his pro career, but he is passing the test with flying colors. And a big left hook that drops him, and finally Johnson hits the canvas, and Gary Ritter has seen enough. And Sergey Derievchenko haunts Tureano Johnson, and now it is Derievchenko who is the #1 contender for the IBF Middleweight Championship of the world.
Yeah, he broke him down nice throughout the fight. That's what you want to see going into a title shot, is somebody come in, work the body, work the head, keep that distance, and come through a grueling fight like this, because you know he can take it and he can put it out.
Tureano Johnson, what heart, what determination, but tonight he fought someone who broke him down and was just beating him to the punch in Sergey Derievchenko. And there is Andre Rozier, who is absolutely beaming as Sergey Derievchenko finds a way to stop Tureano Johnson. We'll come back to get the official particulars. You're watching PBC on FS1.
Take your time.